Liquid attack, but dear God, after the first half an hour, you run out of things to say really quick.
Yeah, I can imagine. We need more background information on these players that are in your show. We need like gossip and love life and all these real life stuff you can talk about and discuss and pass judgment on and all that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. We can do that when you're on Team Liquid Attack. We'll be doing that. Like
I'll
we won't
give
even
you
be
all
talking about
the
the game.
sappy details of my life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we won't even be talking about the game. We'll just be talking about you. We'll just call it like Red Attack.
That's awesome. That would make TeamLiquid.net so popular you don't even want to know.
Yeah. If anyone's wondering, the reason Rhett wasn't on season 1 was because we knew we'd have to upgrade our servers, like, to handle all his fans, and I mean, just
Yeah,
getting them up to speed, it's been ridiculous, the amount of money that's been invested in handling Red Attack. Yeah, Attack G. Oh yeah, there's a game going on. So we got a Zerg vs Terran on Gaia. The Zerg player is the one asking for help. Can you talk us through how you like to play Gaia as a Zerg?
well, in this particular replay, there are cross positions, which is very, very good for Zerg and the best situation you can be in. Because on this map, on some positions, Terran is so close that their timing attack in your network comes so fast and there's just nothing you can do about it. But on the cross positions, you are far away and you can expand both ways on the map, and it's just a lot easier to play, and it's very favorable to Zerg if you ask me. But as far as play goes, it's pretty much just the same standard stuff. On cross positions, I think 3 hatch is the best option. On close positions, then 2 hatch, Lurker Ling or Ling Muta is also extremely good because you're in turn base so fast. But other than that, everything's pretty standard about this map.
Would you change your play at all if you were vertical positions, or would you just play normal and then cry at how unfortunate you are for having to play close positions?
Well, usually you can get a scout in and see where people are before you have to make that choice between 2 hatch or 3 hatch. But if it was cross positions, I would definitely just play the regular 3 hatch build and just play it safe and try to just win without going all in or trying to win with a micro attack or something like that. But on close positions, like top against bottom, any sort of scenario, if Terran's a good player, then you know that it's going to be really tough. So I would go 2 hatch and try to go speed lanes and run into his base or kill his marines, and then follow up with like a quick lurker, which you can run on the cliff around the expansion and come from 2 different sides and try to win a game quick that way, because it gets really tough once Terran gets their famous blob army.
Yeah, what do you think about his build here? He's getting 4-6 Zerglings out, and he's got a lot of minerals, and he hasn't really mainerded any drones.
Yeah, it's little things like this. Like when your expansion finishes, there has to be 4 drones mining the second it's done. And when you get 300 minerals, you gotta make that 3rd hatch. Little things like this that start the first second the game begins. You are slower than your opponent with something else, you're gonna be behind. It's gonna set you back. And for weaker players, all these little things add up, and they have less minerals than good players, and that's like a big part of why they're just losing games, and why their timings are off, and why they don't have enough units at the right time, and all that sort of thing. This is really a complex game, and you gotta watch every single detail. Like even in late game, you see Zergs make their 3rd base and start making drones there and not send any drones or make any new drones. It's just something that's unfortunate, because little things like that can help you so much in late game and just set you up so much better than you would being ineffective with your new expands.
What do you think of him delaying gas and trying to deal with this fast expansion with this many Zerglings?
It's a viable option. Like a good Terran will scout it and make a bunker, so you can't really do anything. But if he scouts you really late, or you kill his scout really quickly, you can try to make a whole bunch of lings and just hit him before he gets fire bats, and hope he doesn't make a bunker. So it's something you can do. Not something I do very often, but it's a reasonable option. I see it done quite a lot by better players as well. He's doing it a little bit weird though, because usually Zerg will make 8 links, send 7 to the expansion, and just try to kill the first bit of Marines, or Zerg will make like 20 and attack with speed, and he's doing just something in the middle, but it seems to be working out for him up to this point. I
Yeah, he's
totally
got
don't
a
understand why he made a sunken when he has this many links. It just doesn't make sense because he doesn't need it. And he just made 2 overlords at his 3rd hatch, and another overlord at his expand, so he's got 3 overlords making right now. This is just like completely ineffective play, and it's little things like that that just make a bad player bad.
Yeah, another thing is his overlord is basically in the middle of nowhere, and he's got really no scouting. He has no idea what the Terran's doing, and something good players will say time and time again is how much scouting plays in the game. I mean, he's just basically attacking in blind without knowing what Terran's doing, and you can see it's ending in
Yeah,
disaster.
he's got no clue about what's going on. He made a sunken, he made lings, he made 5 overlords. He doesn't know what turn is doing. He I, there's just so much wrong with this play that it's just too much to name. But yeah, he needs to scout better.
All right, well, let's
I'm
start
sorry, I don't
giving
want to
him.
be mean or anything, but
No, I mean it's just being realistic. Let's start giving him some concrete suggestions maybe that he can take to his play. So don't make so many overlords at the same time. Your gas was late. Transfer drones. Your layer is late. Anything else?
yeah, yeah, he just needs to same thing like the Terran player. He just needs to get his build orders down right and make drones at the right time and make lings at the right time and scout Terran so he knows what's coming, so he knows how many drones he can make, and he knows how many defense he has to make. Other than that, his play is pretty standard. He's going 3 has Spire, which is a very good opening build. He's just doing it that much slower than everybody else and with that much less economy than everybody else.
Yeah. When do you know what time like minute you normally have your 9 mutas out?
It's hard to say. I don't keep track of like minutes, but I just have it at I have about 35 supply, and that's when I make my lords to save larvis for 9 mutas. And I usually have drones and maybe about 10 speedlings, and I'll have a 3rd base morphing. That's always the situation that I'm gonna be in. I'm not sure what minute it is.
So Jared's wondering if he made his Hydralisk den too early to follow up after the Spire.
Um, it's not really too early. It's a little early because he doesn't have the gas to actually do anything with it, so it's kind of pointless, but pretty much right after you make 11 mutas, that's when you make your den, and that's when you start researching it, and then you start pumping drones like mad, and you usually have an inner expansion, and use your mutas to stall and pick off stuff till you have lurkers. But this requires so much micro that players who have so much trouble even in the beginning of the game to, play right, it's going to be extremely hard to pull off, so maybe it's better for a player like this to play like just with 2 base and get Mutaling and Lurker before he takes more expansions, and just play like in a slower paced game, which is safer.
Okay, so Keen was wondering, I mean, this player had no idea what the Terran was up to. Do you think it's a better idea? I didn't exactly catch your question, Keen. I don't know if you were wondering if he should add a den before Spire or if he should make the den quicker.
No, if anything, I think he should make the den later if he's unsure about what's happening, because if Terran like hit it some like extremely aggressive 5 barracks build, he's not gonna have lurkers in time anyway, so then it's better to make it later and focus on Mutaling if he's not sure. And again, this Zerg has right now so much opportunity to kill those Marines that are standing like next to his barracks without really any turret cover, and he could just be microing and, you know, spamming H like I told everyone to do, and he'd be killing lots of Marines, and he'd probably feel really happy, but he's just not doing it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't even know if he knows those Marines are there because he doesn't even. Yeah, Intrigue is saying if you spam H, that's gonna eliminate the Terran race from
Yeah,
StarCraft,
he would
unfortunately.
like just kill his whole base with like 8 meters. I'm not kidding you. But he just has no clue because he's got his mutas like hanging in the air there, and there's like a group of Marines going around the map, and another random group standing in the middle, and there's some lurkers at his command, and he's just not doing much with them. It's just completely like you can tell these players just have no, you know, overview of how the game flow is going and what's going on and what they need to do to win. They just watch programmers and try to get the same units and, you know, try to get a nice unit mix, but they don't know like what's really going on in the game, and this is what I need to do, and this is the next step I need to take to, you know, win this game.
So would you advise players not to, like, not even to watch pro game or replays, or and just focus on their
They
own
can
play,
watch
or?
them, but they should try to understand like why is he winning this game. As Zerg, you just have to think like, okay, I need to get my third gas, and I need to have enough units so I can get to Hive and get the finals, and then work on my third gas, and then, you know, Ultras will close the game for me. And you just gotta know that when he has Marines of 3 back and you have mutas, he's gonna want to stop the third gas because that's what you want to get. And you just gotta be prepared for these fights and just try to, like, you know, just have the right pattern in your fight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of players don't realize that their mistakes are really compounding. It's like they feel like, oh, I get to late game and Terran just has this huge ball. I can't do anything. This is stupid. But it's as you said earlier, it's just a compounding of every mistake that's being made in the game. And Zerg is more likely to, being the aggressor, is more likely to make mistakes, I think, than Terran. So they need to be a lot more fluid.
Yeah, well, you can see this guy, like, he has an idea of what he has to do. He made mutas, he made links, he made lurkers, he's going Hive. He tried to get an expansion, but he didn't use his units in the right way to, you know, defend his expansion, and he doesn't know that he really needs that third gas to win this game, and he can't just, you know, kind of like screw around and do random stuff. You need to stick to what you know will win you the game.
So Coral Reaper is hijacking our event. He wants you to play team melee against him. I don't know.
I'd love to play team melee, of course. I actually I have 2 friends, and I play Terran against them, and they both play Zerg. They're a Dutch and a German guy, like old school players, and we have some really fun games, 1 against 2. It's quite fun.
Do you find it helps you improve playing weaker players team melee?
Well, um, depends on how weak they are, but if they can put up a good fight, you know, and know how to play the game, then it can really bring down your confidence, but I guess it can also make you improve. I would really love to play against a team like, you know, Mondragon and Zombie 1v2 Team Easy. That'd be pretty awesome. Or
I
maybe
guess
it's something you
I'm.
can do for Team Liquid Attack. You can make me and Artosis play a Team Elite turn against Zerg against Mingu.
Uh, Fair enough. I think the demand is going to be quite high. I don't know what we're going to do against Mengu, but we're definitely going to be getting some good players against them. Uh, we'll see what happens. I'm wondering if you ever would advise weaker players to skip Defilers and go straight to Ultralisk when they get to Hive.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing to say, because I guess it does get really tough to micro those defilers and, you know, do it well and to keep your minerals down if you don't have the necessary speed to do it. So going ultras, you know, just pressing SU and just, you know, spending that money and just keeping low mineral count might be an easier thing to do for weaker players. So I
Again,
think that's probably true.
we're talking in the context of a player who wants to win, not one who wants to improve, I think. I mean, obviously, if you want to improve in the long run, you're probably going to want to learn how to use defilers.
Yeah, If you know that you're crap with Defiler Micro and you can't really get anything done with them, it's a lot better to go for the, big unit that will just own everything in its way without micro or anything else.
When do you add your second evolution chamber?
I usually go for my first one after the den, and then I add my second one once I got a third gas and I can support it. Usually around the same time I get the fighters.
I'm trying to come up with help for this player, but looks like he's just gonna get steamrolled. I mean,
Well,
he's
right
he's
now he
really
should be
having
having his
trouble.
lurkers, stalling his Terran army, using his Scourge to pick off a vessel, making Terran nervous, sending lings around the back, harassing his third expansion, keeping him busy, getting defilers, getting consumed, getting another expansion, and then eventually, swarming his way into the Terran base. But he has his army sitting there, and Terran's moving around, and his expand is not being attacked. He's totally, comfortable like this. It's just giving Terran the game, basically. Something that's extremely helpful in stopping Terran while you're getting the filer is just sending random links around the side of the map and harassing their third base or harassing their natural and just keeping them busy, annoying them. It will slow them down and it can really make you win games.
Do you ever add drop and overload speed in the mid game, or are you pretty much typically stalling for defilers?
And late game it gets different, but early game no, I rarely play with drop, and I usually add it when it gets to the point where we both have each side of the map, and he has a max army of marines and I have a max army of defiler ultra lurker, and we just can't kill each other, and Terran just, you can't do anything to kill his army. I usually add drop and try to harass his main and drop his expansions when it gets to the late game, but not in mid game. I only do that when it gets like impossible to break through with Swarm and Lurker Ultra.
And how about opening or playing in the mid game with Hydra Lurker? Are you typically just using Lurkerling, or have you ever found that Hydra Lurker works better in certain situations or certain maps?
I usually stick to Ultra Ling, but it is actually really good to make maybe like a group of Hydras with range and speed if you're using in combination with Plague, because if you're using Plague and you have Hydras, then he can't do anything with his vessels, so it's a good option. I would, however, never go all out Hydra Lurker, but Hydra Lurker Plague is a good combination. However, very gas heavy, so you need to... Basically, when you have that much gas and you can go Hydra Lurker Defiler and support it all, you basically already win the game no matter what unit you make.
Alright, Kenneget's got a question. Go for it. Oh, unless you want to save it for the Zerg vs. Protoss.
Maybe we should do that and just talk about this replay a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like they both have an insane amount of money after saving for something. This reminds me of In Control.
Ouch.
But it just seems like, Terran is freely macroing and he has these expansions that are completely undefended and Zerg is not doing anything about it. Zerg has too few gas, he's taking too long with taking more bases. He does have the right idea because, he's going Ultra, he's going Defenders, he's going Lurker, so he knows what unit combinations are good, but he's just not, how do you call it, executing properly.
I guess if you ever find yourself with this many minerals, should Zerg be throwing hatcheries down, trying to expand, or should he be throwing down more hatcheries in main, getting more production?
If he wants to win the game, then he should do that because he can't seem to spend them with the hatcheries he has. You can make many lings and it's really good. You can just send groups of lings across the map and harass expansions and kill, scouts and kill like stray group of marines and just be extremely annoying. So making a lot of links can be really useful even though they aren't useful in actual like a big fight.
Oh, here's another question. Which do you find you upgrade first? The ultralisk armor or the ultralisk speed? And is it ever situational to make you upgrade one over the other first?
I used to always believe that armor was better, but and I think it is almost all the time. If you're gonna just like engage Terran right away, then armor is always better. But on some maps, you can do things like Terran will have a huge army, and you can get speed ultra and send a few ultras to his expansion, and send a few to his main, and a few elsewhere, and his army will get split up, and you're so fast you can move around and just be annoying everywhere, and then just eventually overrun him. Then speed is a good choice, but if you're just gonna want like a good amount of ultras and take him straight up and just beat his army, then armor is the obvious choice. And I'll go armor first in about 90% of my games.
Okay, I think we're just gonna kick this up to X8 at this point and move on to Zerg vs Protoss replay if you have any.
Yeah, I'll try to find one. Well, this Zerg just has bad upgrades and I think he's just playing a bad upgrade.